We will start from verse 226 in the Quran. Ibn Kathir explains in detail that yulun means they swear angrily, in a fit of anger, that they will not have marital relations with their wives for a certain period, meaning yulun, for those who swear. From their wives, for those who swear, that they will not have marital relations with their wives for a specified period. So, what happens here is that if he swears not to have relations with her for 3 months, it means either the period is less than 4 months, or the period is 4 months, or the period is more than 4 months. If it is less, he waits until it completes. If it is 4, he waits until they finish. If it is more than 4, they finish the 4. If he returns to his wife in the normal situation, welcome. If he does not return to the normal situation, the judge divorces her from him so that she does not suffer harm. Al-Qurtubi has another perspective on the matter of yulun. In the word yulun, from their wives, he says it was read in 2 ways. It was for those who swear, not for those who yulun as we read it today. It was read as for those who swear. And another reading for those who said it in the past. Here in the verse it is in the present tense. Al-Qurtubi gives an example, saying that this happened, meaning it happened during the Prophet's time. The Prophet himself said, from his wives, meaning he swore to keep them all apart, for a period because they were demanding expenses he could not afford. It seems clear that they were excessive in their demands from him, so he told them he would not gather them any more. This is in verse 227. Ibn Kathir says here that if they decide on divorce, there are 2 opinions. The first opinion is that divorce occurs after 4 months have passed, and that's it. The second opinion says that divorce does not occur after 4 months in every case. I'm also trying to summarize because the jurists have written a lot on this matter. Anyway, verse 228. Many say that a divorced woman should wait for 3 menstrual cycles, 3 cycles, or menstruate 3 times, to ensure that the womb is not carrying a fetus, simply put. And of course, it is known that the maximum duration for a menstrual period is 15 days, understood for a single period as 15 days. So, 15 days times 3 cycles equals 45 days in total, ensuring that her womb is clear, right? And her husband has the right to take her back during the waiting period of 3 menstrual cycles, the 45 days. He has the right to take her back even if he has divorced her 100 times. This is the verse, meaning divorce here is open. There is no problem in divorcing because the following verse immediately abrogates it, limiting divorce to 1 time. So, Ibn Kathir says that the reason for the revelation of this verse is that Asma bint Yazid al-Ansariya, a woman by that name, is involved. She said that she was divorced during the time of the Prophet and there was no waiting period for the divorced woman, meaning there was no waiting period of a month or 1 menstrual cycle, or 2 or 3, or anything else. It was like that. So when she went and told the Prophet that she was divorced, the verse was revealed to specify the waiting period for what? The divorced woman. Al-Qurtubi says that there are about 3 opinions. The first opinion says that the divorced woman should wait for 3 menstrual cycles. The second opinion says she should wait for 3 periods of purity, meaning she should purify herself from menstruation 3 times. The third opinion says 3 menstrual cycles and periods of purity. She menstruates and cleanses, menstruates and cleanses, menstruates and cleanses 3 times. So, the first opinion is 3 menstrual cycles. The second opinion is 3 periods of purity, and the third opinion 3 menstrual cycles and periods of purity, Each time she menstruates and purifies, each time she menstruates and purifies, menstruates and purifies. This ensures the womb is clear of any fetus. To prevent issues of lineage confusion, as she might get divorced while pregnant and marry someone else before the 3 menstrual cycles, ensuring the womb is clear of any. Pregnancy. So the child would be attributed to the new father or the new husband, which of course is not acceptable at all. So, with today's modern science, this is not necessary. Because she could get divorced today and go for a test. It tells us that she is not pregnant in 3 seconds, not 3 minutes. It confirms that she is not pregnant. Thank you very much. Goodbye, she can go and get married. But of course, since their science was not advanced, they had to come up with a method suitable for their time and way of thinking, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. The story is, what is the reason for the revelation of this verse? There are actually 2 reasons. The first reason is that their custom in pre-Islamic times was for the woman to conceal her pregnancy. What does it mean to conceal the pregnancy? It means she wouldn't announce it when her husband divorced her, so she wouldn't say she was pregnant. Why? To spite him and claim the child as her own. With the new husband, so it would be like she was acting out of spite or to humiliate him, or something like that. So, the verse was revealed to address and limit this issue. Another reason mentioned is that a man asked the Prophet, saying, "O Prophet of God, I divorced my wife while she was pregnant. And I have doubts, I don't have confidence," meaning that she might marry another man while pregnant, and my child would be considered someone else's. So, the verse was revealed. We have 2 reasons here. And this is what was mentioned in Al-Qurtubi. Now, regarding the matter of the degree, which is, and for men is a degree over them. This degree, people said, refers to spending, meaning the man spends on the woman, so he has a degree over her, or he is better than her by a degree, or higher than her by a degree, or preferred over her by a degree, something like that. Some people said it refers to the dowry. Spending is one opinion, and the dowry is another opinion, in any case. What is the evidence that the jurists use to argue this? They say, of course, there is a degree because the Prophet said, and the Prophet said, very well, what did the Prophet say then? He said 2 things. He said, if I were to command anyone to prostrate to anyone other than Allah, I would have commanded the wife to prostrate to her husband. Good. Or the second one says, if a woman is called by her husband to his bed and she refuses, the angels curse her until morning or until she wakes up. Of course, I made a video before and said that abolishing the prophetic sunnah is the solution. I see that this talk, look, I'll tell you something. I won't say that this is logical talk and that is illogical talk, or talk against reason, or talk that the Prophet wouldn't say, and all that. If the Prophet rose from his grave and told me that he said this, I would say to him, sorry, I refuse because you do not have the right to say this. Basically, the Prophet does not have the right to have hadiths in the first place, and we mentioned this in the video about abolishing the sunnah. We said, go back to the complete Quranic verses that state his mission is only to convey the message, just convey the message, full stop. And even he said in a narration about him, meaning no one should write about me except the Quran, and whoever writes anything about me other than the Quran should erase it. So, honestly, I don't adhere to this at all. I don't follow the sunnah at all, whether it's logical or illogical, just to make things clear, so that my position as a person is very clear. I do not engage with the sunnah at all, and say whatever you want, that's fine. Let's look at 229. Here, Ibn Kathir says that there was a woman named Jamila bint Salul who was the wife of Thabit ibn Qais. She said to him, O Messenger of Allah, I have no complaints about my husband. He is religious, and I do not fault him in character or faith, but I detest him. I dislike him, for the sake of Allah. He said, do not return to him what you have taken from him. She said, yes, he had given me a garden as a dowry, and I do not want it. So he told him, divorce her and take back the garden. Today, they consider this as part of the story of Cool, and all these matters, which is good. So the man accepted the garden and divorced the woman, that's it. This is just a comment on verse 129. Al-Qurtubi says he has another opinion. The other opinion is that there was a man who said to his wife, I will divorce you. When you approach, when the waiting period is about to end, I will take you back and then divorce you again. As you approach, I will take you back, meaning I will torment you, neither free nor bound, neither will I keep you nor let you go. So this woman complained to Lady Aisha, and Lady Aisha told the Prophet, and then it was revealed to you. Just to understand this dialectical situation between the text and reality, the woman tells Lady Aisha, and Lady Aisha tells the Prophet, and then the verse is revealed to him. I don't know, of course, what he did, whether he informed his Lord or if. In the time Lady Aisha told him, God knew and revealed the verse. I don't know what exactly happened, but this is exactly what occurred. The woman told Lady Aisha, and Lady Aisha told the Prophet, and the Prophet received the verse, or the verse was revealed to him directly. So here, exactly. He also gives an example saying that the Prophet himself divorced Hafsa and then took her back again. As an example of the verse itself, bear in mind the story of taking her back. This verse abrogated the one before it, meaning that divorce in the previous verse, which is 228, the previous verse allowed divorce without limitation. You could divorce up to 100 times, no problem, and take her back. But this one, no, it limited divorce to 2 times, thus abrogating the previous one. Now, I have a question here. What is the time gap between the 2 verses? For divorce to be unrestricted in one verse and then immediately limited to 2 times in the following verse. Because after that, if you divorce her a 3rd time, you can't take her back, unless she marries someone else, as stated in verse 230, which follows immediately. So, what is the time difference? Why didn't it just say from the start that it's 2 times and that's it? Why didn't God say it's 2 times? Divorce is twice, meaning the verse initially allows open divorce and then says divorce is twice. What is the wisdom in this? We want to understand, especially since this wasn't revealed in one chapter, but in different chapters, or this was revealed at one time, and that at another. This one follows immediately after the other, meaning one abrogated the previous one. Why? What is the wisdom? That was the real question. Verse 230, the Prophet, Abu Bakr, and Aisha were sitting, when the wife of Rifa al-Qurazi entered. She said to the Prophet, O Prophet of God, Rifa divorced me completely, meaning 3 times, which is very clear, and I married Abdurrahman bin Zubayr. However, Abdurrahman, I am not happy with you, so I want to return to Rifa. What should I do? He said to her, no, since he divorced you twice, you must first consummate the marriage with him as a wife. Then you divorce him and return to Mr. Rifa. Al-Qurtubi says something else, meaning he has his own opinion on the matter. He says that it is not permissible for the intermediary to marry this woman with the intention of being an intermediary, and he will divorce her after a night or 2, and then she returns to her husband. This is not allowed. You must marry her with the intention of marriage, and if you like her, you can stay with her for the rest of your life without any problem at all, which is considered a temporary marriage, and this is forbidden in Sunni Islam, but it is acceptable in Shia Islam. I have a question here. What is the wisdom behind limiting it to 3 times, and not 4? I mean, if we say it is 4 times, you can divorce up to 3 times, the 4th, you go and marry someone else. Why not 4? Why specifically 3? Surely there is wisdom behind it. What is its wisdom then? I searched among the scholars and found nothing. All right, let's see 231. The reason for the revelation of this verse is said to be that a man would divorce a woman, and Aisha narrates that men used to divorce women and tell them, "I will neither leave you nor divorce you." They would leave them in a state like a suspended house, as they say. So, when the end of her waiting period approached, he would take her back again. So the verse was revealed because they were taking this matter as a joke. It was revealed to say, do not take the signs of Allah in jest due to their joking behavior at that time. Indeed, the truth is, I also. Here, the word mercy with an open T is also like we said before. Why? I don't know. Sometimes it's with an open T for the mercy of Allah, and sometimes with a closed or tied T. What's the story with these two T's? I truly don't understand, and even among the scholars, it's not very clear. The second thing is that the word Allah is repeated 5 times in this verse, and I truly don't know the wisdom behind this. Please refer to the verse, of course, so as not to waste time. Refer to the verse, and I hope everyone who watches my videos opens the Quran. Open the Quran so you can see, don't just listen to me and that's it. I might be speaking incorrectly, you know. It's possible, so see, the word Allah is repeated 5 times in the verse. What is the wisdom behind this? That's a real question. The reason for the revelation of this verse also mentions that there was a man named Maqil ibn Yasar who had a sister who was married, and her husband divorced her. Then he wanted to take her back, but Maqil said to him, "No, she's not going back to you again." So the verse was revealed. Of course, the matter reached the Prophet, so take note, the verse was revealed so that when there is mutual consent between the two parties, people can return to each other, and the family should not stand in the way of this peace, or lawful reconciliation between the parties. There might be children between them. They might love each other, and you will notice the anger. All of this is understandable, and of course, this is excellent. There is no problem at all. In any case, Al-Qurtubi says that this verse was revealed concerning divorced women who have children. That's Al-Qurtubi's opinion. The second opinion states that it was indeed revealed concerning both divorced and married women, in both cases, and only God knows for whom exactly the verse was revealed. In any case, Al-Jalalain says, a woman whose husband has died should wait 4 months without remarrying. All right? 4 months and 10 days, okay? This applies to non-pregnant women. A non-pregnant woman should wait after her husband's death for 4 months and 10 days to ensure there is no pregnancy. All right? Pregnant women should wait until they give birth, and, after giving birth, they can then remarry. All right. Yes. It is said that after this period, meaning the pregnant woman gives birth and the non-pregnant woman waits 4 months and 10 days, they can then adorn themselves and start preparing for a new engagement or marriage. That's basically it. Yes, because the statement is very clear. It explains itself. There's nothing unclear about it. All right. Nasi, Al-Qurtubi, and Al-Jalalain, the 3 that I am working on, I look at their readings and all these things. They say that there is no sin or problem at all for the countries, meaning that they discovered You go to the woman whose husband has passed away and propose to her. During the waiting period, provided that the marriage is carried out after the waiting period, meaning this is permissible, and it can all be done openly and in front of the family, not secretly, meaning it should not be a secret matter, but the important thing is that the marriage, the mingling between the two parties, happens after the waiting period. This is the real story. Also, here is a question. I am repeating here in the verse it says, and know that, twice. Why? I don't know. Refer back to the verse if you want. And know that Allah knows what is in your hearts, and know that Allah is forgiving, merciful. What is the wisdom behind repeating and know that twice? Okay, the thing is, I'm asking because I'm ignorant of the wisdom behind it. If any of you have an idea, please say, the wisdom is such and such, because it was mentioned. What does it say? And know that Allah knows what is in your hearts, so beware of him. Indeed, he is forgiving, merciful. Even without indeed, he is forgiving, merciful. But this says, and know that Allah is forgiving, merciful. So, in any case, I'm speaking according to the Quranic approach in addressing matters. The Quranic approach always relies on pronouns, like he is the forgiving, the merciful, he is the all-hearing, the all-knowing, and so on. It speaks about Allah even using the third-person pronoun, right? 206. Ibn Kathir says if the contract is completed, meaning you've gone and signed the marriage contract with someone, in today's terms, that's all well and good. Then, if a disagreement arises between you about the furniture, or anything else, or you heard something negative about her reputation, or for any reason you divorced her before consummating the marriage, whether the reason is from you, from her, a family dispute, anything, that's all well and good. Then you pay her half of the dowry. Or half of the dowry, or in other words, half of what you paid, to put it simply. Why? Because you have certainly broken her heart with this matter of divorce, so that's very fair. And of course, here, half of what you paid depends on whether you were rich or poor, or according to your means. If you said that you would pay a dowry of 1,000 dinars or $1,000, then you give her 500, and that's it. Thank you very much, and goodbye, each going their separate ways. This is simply the meaning of the verse, which is very fair. Al-Baqarah says that this happened with the Prophet himself. How? The Prophet said to Umaymah bint al-Nu'man. Ibn Shurayhil said to her, he told her, give yourself to me, or give yourself to Umaymah. So Umaymah said to him, does a queen give herself to a commoner? To a commoner, meaning she is describing the archer as a commoner. I'm not saying anything myself, and I'll tell you where the source is. I'm just a transmitter, so there's nothing. So he reached out his hand towards her to reassure her. You see, that's how the text is, not even placed his hand on her, but reached out his hand towards her to reassure her. So she said, I seek refuge in God from you. All right, so he did not consummate the marriage with her and divorced her, which is very good. He ordered that she be given 2 blue garments. Why, 2 blue garments? I honestly don't know, but that's what happened. He then told them to return her to her family, saying they didn't want her anymore. So the Prophet said to Amina bint al-Nu'man ibn Shurayhil, give yourself to me, and she replied to him, would a queen give herself to a commoner? So he reached out his hand to reassure her, and she said to him, I seek refuge in God from you. So he praised God. He then told them to clothe her, give her 2 blue garments, and return her to her family. He did not consummate the marriage with her, and that was the end of her story. Where was this mentioned? In Fath al-Bari. In the explanation of Sari al-Baqarah, in the chapter where the discussion about divorce is mentioned. The chapter is titled as such, and you can refer to it. Here, the same thing applies, the same meaning. If the marriage contract is completed and then divorce occurs before consummation, meaning you have contracted the marriage but divorced before consummating. This is the arrangement of verses 36 and 37, and you can refer back to them and see, or rewind the video, and you'll find the man reading the same words. If you divorce them before you have touched them, it's simple, meaning half of what you have stipulated. Very well. So half of the dowry for someone of her status, meaning each one has her own level. For example, how much is usually given to someone like her? If it's a few $1,000s, you give her 500. All right, it's understood. Verses 36 and 37 say the same thing. I don't really know the reason for the repetition of the two verses, even though they convey the same meaning. The core of the two verses, I mean, not because the second verse might lead someone to say, no, the second verse says, unless the woman waives her right. No, I'm talking about the core issue, which is the contract followed by divorce, without consummation. That's the essence of the matter, and you take half the dowry or half of what was agreed upon in both cases. I mean, that's what the two verses say, unless I'm misunderstanding, which is another issue. So, Al-Qurtubi says that this verse abrogated the other, that 37 abrogated 36. But why was 36 there in the first place if 37 was going to abrogate it? You don't know. Like the verse we mentioned earlier about divorce, where divorce is open-ended and then it says divorce is twice. This one abrogated that one. So why not just reveal this one and be done with it? I mean, I don't know, especially since the verses were revealed consecutively, with no time gap between them. So, what's the wisdom behind that? I don't know, I'm just asking out loud with you.